This electric Mercedes just destroyed every EV myth in 8 days. If you're one of those people who thinks electric cars are just expensive golf carts that are useless after 200 miles, well, Mercedes just took a sledgehammer to that entire narrative. They drove an electric car for 8 days straight. And I mean straight, y'all. Covering the equivalent of driving around the entire planet. And what they discovered is gonna completely change about how you think about EVs moving forward. I get it. If you're sitting on the fence about an electric car, you've probably heard of a lot of horror stories, like range anxiety, charging taking forever, batteries dying in the cold, and things like road trips being impossible. Trust me, I've definitely been there too. But what Mercedes AMG just pulled off at Italy's Nardo test track isn't just impressive, it's a complete demolition of every excuse you've ever had for not going electric. So here's what actually happened. Two identical Mercedes AMG GT-XX concepts started driving simultaneously on August 17th. For the next 7 days, 13 hours, 24 minutes, and 7 seconds, these cars never stopped moving except to charge and swap drivers. They covered 40,075 kilometers, and that's literally the circumference of planet Earth. But here's the kicker. They weren't hypermilling at 35 miles an hour like some eco-warrior stunt. These cars were averaging 186 miles an hour around the high-speed oval. Let's start with the biggest myth, range anxiety. You know that feeling when your gas tank hits a quarter tank and you start looking for gas stations? Well, in 24 hours, this Mercedes covered 3,405 miles. That's not a typo, folks. 3,405 miles in 1 day. The previous record was held by a Chinese car at 2,461 miles. Mercedes beat it by almost 1,000 miles. Picture this, you can drive from New York to Los Angeles, then turn around and drive back to Denver, all in 1 day. So you're still worried about range? But wait, you're thinking, sure, but how long did they spend charging? Now this is where it gets absolutely ridiculous, y'all. This Mercedes charges at 850 kilowatts. Most fast chargers these days max out at 350 kilowatts. This thing is more than twice as fast. In 5 minutes, literally the time it takes for you to go take a pee and grab a coffee, this car adds 400 kilometers of range. That's 249 miles in 5 minutes, y'all. Think about your last gas station stop. By the time you swiped your card, filled up, and went inside for snacks, this Mercedes would have charged enough to drive from Chicago to St. Louis. The charging stops weren't the bottleneck, the human drivers were. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. For those of you who think EVs are fragile tech toys, can you believe it? These cars maintained 186 miles an hour for over a week straight. The ambient temperatures were hitting 95 degrees Fahrenheit. You can assume that the track temperature was over 130 degrees. And these electric motors, well, they just kept delivering over 1,360 horsepower without even breaking a sweat. You know what's wild? They had Formula One driver George Russell behind the wheel, and he said that the electric motors responded with the same precision as an F1 race car, but with the endurance he'd only experienced with combustion engines. When an F1 driver is impressed by your electric car's performance, you know you got something special here. So how is this even possible? 3 things that are about to change everything, y'all. First, these aren't your typical electric motors. They're using axial flux motors that are 3 times more powerful than conventional EV motors. And I'm telling you guys, we are 2 steps away from the flux capacitor.
This is what makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor.
Flux capacitor.
They're lighter, more compact, and more efficient. Second, the battery cooling system is straight out of F1. Instead of air or liquid cooling, they're using a non-conductive oil that directly cools each of the 3,000 individual battery cells. This prevents overheating during extreme charging and sustained high-speed driving. Third, and this is the real game changer right here, this exact powertrain is going into production in Mercedes Mercedes AMGs starting in 2026. This isn't a tech demo, y'all. It's your next car. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This is just a publicity stunt with $1 million race car, right? But here's the thing. They used two identical cars and they finished within 15 miles of each other after driving around the world. That's not luck. That's repeatability. That's real engineering, y'all. And for those worried about the cost, remember, every technology starts out expensive, then eventually gets cheaper. Your smartphone has way more computing power than NASA had when they landed on the moon, and it costs about a nano fraction of what their computer costs. This charging technology will trickle down just like every other automotive innovation. So here's what this actually means for you. Road trips, not a problem when you can add 250 miles of range in the time it takes for you to buy a sandwich. Cold weather performance, these cars were tested in all conditions and they kept performing. Reliability, well, they just proved that electric drivetrains can handle way more abuse than most gas engines will ever see. The infrastructure should be coming too. If Mercedes can charge at 850 kilowatts, you can bet charging networks are scrambling to upgrade their systems. We're not talking about someday, we're talking about 2026, y'all. Look, I'm not saying you need to run out and buy an electric car tomorrow, but if you've been using range, charging speed, or reliability as reasons to avoid EVs, well, Mercedes just eliminated every single one of those excuses in spectacular fashion. Question isn't whether electric cars can handle your lifestyle anymore. It's whether you're ready to handle what electric cars can actually do. Drop a comment and let me know. Are you still on the fence about electric cars, or did Mercedes just push you over the edge? Thanks for tuning in to AK's Thoughts. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Peace.